Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Ranking the Albums. Today we're going to look at the studio releases from the great British blues rock, soul rock, hard rock, folk rock. They kind of did a lot of all this stuff. Funk rock, humblepie. Of course, led by the incomparable singer, guitarist Steve Marriott. Okay, formerly of the Small Faces, left the Small Faces to form Humble Pie with Peter Frampton from The Herd, Greg Ridley from Spooky Tooth, and of course the great young drummer at the time, Jerry Shirley. Pretty much a supergroup of the day, right? Sort of. That configuration would go to release a handful of really stellar, albums over the course of just a couple of years before Frampton would leave to go solo. In comes Clem Clemson, of course, from Coliseum. Great guitar player in his own right, and the band would continue on for many, many years. So they've got, a whole bunch of albums here. The only one I do not own, so I'm not going to discuss it. I actually have never even heard it. Is their 2002 release, Back on Track, which, of course, released way after Marriott had passed away. Okay. Like I said, never really heard good things about it, never listened to it, never picked it up, so I'm not going to include that one here. But I have all of the other albums featuring, of course, Mr. Marriott. Some really great ones, some not so great ones, as happens with a lot of bands who kind of, maybe lingered around longer than they should have, or in this case, you had a leader of the band who, had a lot of demons, and I think, latter years were not so kind to the Pie, but still some good tracks splattered amongst those not so good albums. But for the most part, they've got some really, really killer LPs. That the top half of this list was tough to configure and probably could change it any day, because there's a few of these albums that I really love a lot, and I was like, God, how do I rank these over each other, right? But let's get started. So you know how it goes. I'm going to rank them as I like them. I urge you all in the comments below to rank them as you like them, all right? Your favorite to least favorite, your top 5, your top 10, whatever, however you want to do it. Remember, there's no right or wrong answer here. We all hear these albums differently, so we all have different opinions on which ones we like. This is not a definitive, the best Humble Pie albums, all right? These are just my favorites. Curious to hear yours, all right? So let's start off. We're going to go at the bottom, okay? Their last release with Marriott from 1981, Go for the Throat, okay? Which is this one right here. Okay, I got a little 2-for-1 action going on here. And I might as well get them both out of the way at the same time. On to Victory is going to be next. That's this one up here. You got Bob Tench, all right, formerly with Jeff Beck on guitar and vocals, all right, along with Jerry Shirley, Anthony Jones on bass, and Steve Marriott. Here the band's just kind of really just grasping at straws, right? There's not a lot left in the tank. I mean, there's some, a couple of decent tracks here and there. By this point, the band is just basically a, kind of like a boogie band, right? Early 80s, just kind of bluesy rock. Not much to speak of. It's just, it's kind of sad, like what they went through during this period. And like I said, even though there are some couple decent tracks on these albums, as a whole, if you're someone new to Humble Pie, get these last, kind of for completists only, I guess. About as much as I can say there. All right, Street Rats will come in next for me from 1975. Again, not a very good album. This has the well, I'm going to say, it's hard to say which lineup is more classic, because Clem Clemson was actually with the band longer than Frampton. But, there's a couple good tracks on here. Street Rat, the title track is actually pretty good. Roadhog, not bad. Rain is not bad. Let Me Be Your Lovemaker is actually probably by far the best song on here. That's a good kind of lethal, heavy blues rock tune. But the rest of it just kind of like, I don't know. And, by this point, the band were doing a lot of covers and stuff. It's just, I don't know. It's okay. Definitely not something you should seek out first if you're new to Humble Pie. All right. Coming in next, and this is probably a lot of people are not going to agree with me on this one. Town and Country, I'm going to pull up next. This is the band's second album. For me, and this is not a bad album, but for me, this is way more of an acoustic, kind of like bluesy folk album. All right. The band really getting down to their kind of acoustic and folk roots on this album. You know, like I said, the songs are okay. For me, this is just missing a lot of the Humble Pie raunch and just rock and crunch, right? Because they could do that really, really well when these guys wanted to. They were a seriously heavy blues rock band. I'm just finding this album, and again, there's some, you know, Take Me Back is pretty cool. The Sad Bag of Shaky Jake, I like that song. You know, most of it, though, for me, just it's just missing something. But I know there's a lot of people out there who love this album, and if you do, that's cool, right? It's not that appealing to me personally, but I know the appeal. I see the appeal to a lot of people. So if that ranks high up there for you guys, that's totally cool. I totally get that. All right. Next up, I'm going to go with Thunderbox from 1974. You know, this album for a lot of people gets ranked pretty low. I like this album. I think this is a pretty strong album, and I love the title track. This album has got a lot more funk and soul going on, but I think the songs are big and they're bright. There's a ton of groove going on here, and I think the playing is good. The vocals are really good. I like this. I like the title track. Grooving with Jesus is really cool. Like I said, 99 Pounds is a terrific song. I don't care, how you slice it. Pie doing a great job there. What else? Drift Away, No Money Down, No Way, Rally with Ally. I mean, I just think it's a fun album. All right, Thunderbox, always love the album cover. Love the back. Good stuff. All right, next up, their double album, Eat It, okay, which came out in 73, a year before that last one. So this is a half, about 3/4 studio, a couple live tracks. The live tracks are sensational. I think, Get Down to It is another great kind of funky hard rock number. Get Down, featuring the Blackberries, of course, because they had the female backing singers, the Blackberries, who were prevalent on a lot of these albums, and the mid-period albums. And I think they added a lot. The band were really trying to move away from their early kind of folky and heavy blues rock beginnings to more of kind of like a, Marriott was into soul music. I mean, that's what he was into. So they were, a hard rock band with a ton of soul and a lot of funk. And they brought in some female backing singers, the Blackberries, to kind of help out there. And I think it made for a really interesting combination. I always really liked it. What else? Drugstore Cowboy, Black Coffee is another great song. Okay, I Believe in My Soul. And you've got, the live tracks are great. Up Your Sleeve, killer song. All right. I'm a Road Runner, Honky Tonk Woman by the Stones, Is It for Love? I just, I dig this album. I dig it. Very cool. All right, now, those are the pretty good to not good at all Humble Pie albums. The next four, for me, are by far the best, and it's not even close. I mean, these four are in a league of their own, and it's very hard for me to kind of, like I said, I went back and forth on these top four, and my opinion could change 2 hours from now. So I decide to go what I'm going to go through, but the more, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, oh, man. So I'm going to go with, coming in at number 4 for me, and again, I know for a lot of people this could rank a lot higher. I'm going to go with Smokin', which, of course, is the first with Clem Clemson. It's got the incomparable 30 Days in the Hole. This is a pretty rockin' album, okay? Hot and nasty, a lot of really gritty, bluesy, hard rock tunes on here. Clem is a really good guitar player, very different from Frampton. I like this album a lot. Like I said, there have been many times in my life where I've said, this is my favorite Humble Pie album. Today, it's not quite, but like I said, there's not much separating these. Not much at all. So again, next week I could be like, nah, you know what? That's my favorite. I went into this, putting these together, thinking this would be my number one. But usually when I do these shows, I go and re-listen to all these, CDs again and again. And I'm like, man, you know what? So this week, Smokin's coming in at number 3. Coming in at number I'm sorry, number 4. Coming in at number 3, I'm going to go with the self-titled album from 1970, their actual third album. And I think this would have ranked higher for me. This is one of those albums, and I get what they were doing here because they wanted to give you, the first 2 albums you had. The first album is pretty rockin', okay, pretty cranking, right? The second album is very mellow, mostly acoustic. Then on their third album, I think they said, well, we're going to give you a bit of both, all right? So to kind of show you what we're all about before they went and kind of changed focus again. So this out, and it's amazing how it works out. It's like the first track, Live With Me, bone crunching heavy blues rock. Second track, Only a Roach, more acoustic bluesy type stuff. Then One Eyed Trouser Snake Rumba, back to heavy blues rock. Then Earth and Water Sons. Earth and Water Sons, back to more of the acoustic stuff. And then number 5, I'm Ready, bone crunching heavy rock again. Theme from Skint, again, more acoustic. And then you got Red Light Mama, Red Hot, another really cool, rousing, heavy rock, blues rock tune. And then Sucking on the Sweet Vine, again, back to more acoustic, bluesy fare. So again, every other song, different flavor. But I still think, for me, I mean, even here, I like the acoustic tunes. The heavier tunes are spectacular on here, and probably some of their best material. All right, so this would have ranked higher for me. I think, the album is not very long as it is, and I would have liked another 1 or 2 heavier tunes, but I'm a heavier music guy. This is what it is. Coming in at number 2, I'm going to go with As Safe as Yesterday Is, also from 1969, as was the one I just showed you. So this is a pretty strong debut. All right, I toyed with putting this as my number 1. I love the grittiness of this album, the bluesiness of it. It's got some cool Hammond organ on here, and you got Desperation, of course, which is a cover of a Steppenwolf song, right? You got what else? Buttermilk Boy, very cool tune. Growing Closer. The title track is amazing. All right, one of my favorite Humble Pie tunes. You got Bang, you got I Go Alone, What You Will, Stick Shift. Stick Shift's another great, cool, kind of bluesy, raunchy rocker. Just good stuff on here. If you get the CD, you got bonus tracks. You got Natural Born Boogie on here and Wrist Job. All right, definitely cool. So today I'm going to go number 1. Obviously, you know what it is. It's Rock On. The last studio album with Frampton, of course, the Live at the Fillmore. Rockin' the Fillmore would be the final appearance of Peter Frampton. God, Steve Morse, what am I talking about? No, I don't have coronavirus, people. Steve Morse, Steve Marriott, Peter Frampton, getting all these names confused. Anyway, this is the last studio album of Frampton. He would also appear on the Fillmore album, and then that would be it. Clem Clemson would come in. But some great, Humble Pie staples on here. You got Shine On, okay. You got, what else? Stone Cold Fever, Rolling Stone. I'm a Rolling Stone. I mean, just a great singer Steve Marriott was, I'm telling you. What else? The Light, Big George. Big George is a really fun song. The Incomparable Strange Days, which for me, I always thought that Strange Days was one of their coolest, darkest, most ominous kind of slow bluesy tunes. Kind of reminds me of Moonshine by Free. In fact, the song itself kind of reminds me of Free a little bit. I dig that quite a bit. Redneck Jump, Sour Green, 79th and Sunset. Yeah, it's just top to bottom a really, really great album. Just some great guitar tones from both Marriott and Frampton, and of course, you got Marriott and Frampton and Ridley all doing kind of vocals, and it's just a great sounding album. That I really love a lot. Like I said, but at any time, any of these top 4 could kind of change here, but I love them all. So, for those of you, and you're going to ask, because I know it always happens, Pete, I don't really have any Humble Pie albums. Where should I start? Get those first 4. All right. I could tell you to get the Rockin' the Fillmore album, which is one of the greatest live albums ever. And it is great. The problem is it's not quite as representative of how they were on the albums. Around the studio albums, the songs are more compact and stuff. On the live album, a lot of long, jammy tunes and all that kind of stuff. So if you like that sort of thing, definitely get it because it's great. I love it. But not everybody's into that sort of thing. But I would say well, let's recap here. So coming in at number 1, we're going to go to Rock On. Definitely get that if you are a newbie. All right, As Safe as Yesterday Is, their debut, coming in at number 2. Also get that if you are a newbie. Self-titled Humble Pie coming in at number 3. Also seek that one out. Smokin, coming in at number 4, another mandatory Humble Pie. All right, then the rest. Coming in at number 5, Eat It. Number 6, Thunderbox. Number 7, Town and Country. Number 8, Street Rats. Number 9, On to Victory. And number 10, Go for the Throat. And then if you absolutely have to have everything, I guess go try and find Back on Track, which I don't have. And that'll complete your albums listed under the Humble Pie name, even though Back on Track does not have Steve Marriott in it, right? Or most of the classic members. So anyway, there you have it, guys. Humble Pie, ranking the studio albums. Remember, down below in the comments and feedback, rank them as you like them. Okay, that is the motto here. And I hope everybody's safe out there. So, from my vantage point, I just, I'm kind of doing what I'm told. My gym is closed. Most of my favorite breweries in the area are closed. The supermarkets are bare of just about anything. My wife is just, I work from home anyway, but my company, all folks who work in our Boston or Sebastopol, California locations were told to work from home. And, so I'm just business as usual for me, but my wife may be working from home starting today. We'll see. And, it is what it is. I got plenty of toilet paper. I got plenty of food. Just can't get any chicken. I noticed, like, when I went to the supermarket the other day, and again, people buying all sorts of wacky stuff. There's buying bottled water like it's going out of style. There's nothing wrong with the water system, people. I don't understand. Buying Gatorade and soda and juice boxes and, like, any kind of sugary drink you can get by the cases, right?
It's just us. We're in the shop, right? And we were just wondering if you needed anything. We did get you a whole package of chicken breast, boneless chicken breast.
I'm finding chicken, however.
We got that for you guys, because the Price Shop that had it. We've been out since about 8:30 this morning, going to different stores. And you're probably at the gym, maybe.
No, as I told Mom, there's no gym.
Be safe and, I'll get you stuff, but I just wanted to know if you wanted anything else. Love you.
Meanwhile, I talked to my mother yesterday, and I told her, I said, listen, you probably should limit going to stores a little bit. I mean, my parents are in their late 70s. I said, I can get you whatever you need, but of course, she's out this morning shopping, asking me what I need, right? I love her. She's great. And of course, now she's calling me on my cell phone. See, this got to talk to me, even though I just left you a message, right? Anyway, where was I? It's there's no paper products of any kind, no toilet paper, no paper towels, no hand wipes, no nothing. And it's just people it's not the Armageddon, folks. Just they're not going to close the supermarkets. Just buy what you need for the week, right? Don't buy what you need for the next 6 months, because that's what people are doing. And just try and live your life. This will all pass. But, like I always say, in times like this, reach out to music. Music can take you away. You think about all the times in your life where you were going through a rough time. How many of you reached out to your favorite album, your favorite band, your favorite songs, to just kind of help you escape reality, even for just a little bit? Okay, I own a lot of music, so for me, it's like, you know what I'm feeling today? I need a little Humble Pie to help me escape from all this nonsense that I'm hearing in the news. Which your best bet is to just not, there's so many people, that's all they're doing all day long is sitting and watching the news. They're going to tell you the same things over and over again. They're going to make it probably worse than it is. So just, or make you feel worse than it is, all right? Because there's always exaggeration going on out there. So you know what? Just stop watching the news. Catch up with the news once a day, every other day, whatever. And just go, watch a good movie. Pull out some albums you haven't heard in a long time. Just, let your mind and your soul escape with things of comfort. And for a lot of us, if you're following this channel, music is comforting, right? So I know it is for me. So hopefully it's for you guys. And I'm happy to come to you every day with some stuff to talk about, bands to talk about, cool albums to talk about. So you might be asking, Pete, what do you got on tap for us? All right. So either later today or tonight, or definitely tomorrow, here's what the next couple days are going to look like. Ranking the albums, studio albums, Creedence Clearwater Revival. Ranking the studio albums, for Van Halen. Ranking the studio album somehow for Nazareth. I have the stack right sitting here in front of me, and I'm like, I forgot they had that many albums. So I haven't figured out if I'm going to do the entire studio discography, because there's like 25 of them, or I'm going to like limit it, do my top 15, and then the rest are just, here you go. I don't know. Also, I almost forgot. I do want to mention, speaking about Humble Pie, if you like me and want to just digest as much humble pie as you possibly can, especially from the classic lineups, check out these two kind of like compilations, right? So we got Running with the Pack, again, and also the Scrubbers sessions. Okay, these both are very cool, and these contain songs, leftovers, aborted albums, tracks, and all this kind of stuff. So the band got in the studio numerous times during that time period to record stuff, which they wound up trashing and and then redoing and all this kind of nonsense. So there's actually some very cool songs on some of these. Again, if you like, this is the Clemson lineup. Okay, so this is right around the time of Eat It, Thunderbox, and Street Rats. Okay, so some very cool stuff on here. If you can check them out, again, it's the Scrubbers sessions and Running with the Pack. Sometimes they come under different names depending on what version you get, but some good stuff on there, I think, worthwhile if you're looking for as much humble pie as you can get your hands on, right? Okay, so anyway, visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on the mighty YouTube all the damn time. We'll see you guys later on, all right? Be good, be safe. Remember, just be smart. Just be smart. Don't panic. We'll all get through this together, all right? We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.